Welcome to Complete Data's online training session 4. My name is Carissa Cole and I'll be taking you through today's session. In session 4 is a continuation from session 3 where we added a listing to the system. We're going to look at how we can add some marketing. So we're going to insert a photo, add some text so we can create and generate brochures, just listeds, just solds from Complete Data. Once we're in this marketing area and we've completed those functionalities, we will look at setting a vendor paid contribution campaign or VPA campaign to a listing. Then we'll have a look at the advertising database and how this information will be tracked through Complete Data for administrative purposes, such as producing the campaign in a detailed format so you can print and give to your vendors, and also where it makes accountable the sales actions that need to be completed on a weekly basis. So we're going to select on listings. There's a few ways that we can enter the marketing database. It's either through listings, marketing, or through advertising. So we're going to select on listings for the moment, and will be brought through to our list view format. We can see here that we've got marketing, so we can select on marketing of any property which has been captured in the system. So we'll scroll through, find the property that we'd like to enter the marketing database for, and start to activate some photos, some text by selecting on marketing. We've now been brought through to the marketing database, and we can tell that we're in the marketing database by the information captured at the top here. CD_marketing will always let you know what database you're working actively in. So that's how we can enter the marketing database from the listing screen. I'm also going to select on the CD icon, which will take us back to the main menu, as in all of our sessions of Complete Data. Alternatively, we can select on marketing, be brought through to the list view, find the property that we require, and select on the details button. This will bring us through to the marketing database as well, under CD Marketing. So now we know how to get into the marketing database. There's a few functionalities we need to complete, such as adding photos and some text so we can create our brochures, just listed and just sold. So we're going to select on photos. This will take us through to the CD Marketing database where the photos can be applied. You can see I've already applied a few photos in here already. I'm going to show you how to insert a photo for Complete Data. We can select on Insert Photo. This will direct us to the path of where our photos are living. So we can see here we've got the image detail and where that has been captured. We're going to select on Insert Photo, find where the photo is living, and mine is located on My Documents, My Pictures, and it's going to be in our house photo folder. We're going to scroll through, find our property that we've currently got listed that we would like to insert the photos for, and just double select on, and that will insert the photo, as you can see. So once you do this process, it will open straight up to the area where you can continue to select on the photos that you require. We do have property notes that you can write on here for any marketing information, which will be able to be seen from the property notes detailed area. Alternatively, we're going to scroll up. Now that we've inserted our 6 photos, we can see here that it tells us what photos are used for what purpose. So this photo will be used for the brochure, this photo here will be used for the Just Sold flyer, and we need to make sure that we've got the photos in the correct format to generate successfully on these features. So we've inserted some photos, and sometimes with professional photography we may have up to 16 or more photos that we'd like to apply to complete data. We only have the capacity to hold 16 photos within the system, so we've applied 6 in this page here, and I'm now going to show you where you can find the additional photos area. We come over to Layout and select on the drop down list. We go to Additional Photos, which is just under the photo screen or layout where we've been working. Select on Additional Photos and that will draw us through, and as you can see we can capture the remaining 10 photos to add up to our 16 photos which we can hold. So we would just insert in the same process. So I'm just going to go to Layout, back to Photos, and where we were working. Now it is important when we've got our photos, and if we would like to change some photos or the way the photos are appeared or the number format of the photos, we can always delete a photo by using the red X. Make sure that you use this feature so that it removes the photo successfully, and especially if you're using the web upload feature of Complete Data. This allows you to then go back and then redirect this computer to where your photos are living. If you're on an Office version, we need to make sure that all your photos are kept in one space for one purpose. So make sure it's on a drive, a shareable drive on your server that every agent has access to. This is really important because this is a path that Complete Data refers to. So if you do have an upgrade in the future, these photos will be able to be moved across successfully. So now we've added our photos and we need to add some text into the details so that we can generate our brochures and just listed and solds. So we're going to select on Add Text. This has brought us through into the Add Text format of our marketing database. We can capture in here the first caption with our word count. So when we click in here and maybe take out some details and click on the grey screen and save the information that we've changed, we'll see that the word count will change. So we've now got 2 words. I can click into the box, apply the details that I require, and then click back on the grey screen, and that now directs me that I have got 3 words in my caption. Some offices work to a standard of maybe having 6 or 10 words as the maximum for a caption, so this will assist with that area. The next area is advertising text. This text will appear on your brochures and your just listed and just solds. This allows us to have one caption with one lot of ad text. We can have an additional caption for marketing purposes and a second area where we can put in a totally different advertisement text. This is great for if we're out of the office or on annual leave and the administrators need to change up the advertising for us. We can then direct them to use caption 2 and ad text 2 for this week's marketing. In saying that, we're just going to click on the grey screen. Everything has been saved, so please ensure that you add in the details that you require in these areas. Type your text as you'd like it to be viewed on the brochures or just listed or just sold. So if you'd like an asterisk and some bullet points, you would need to type in the information here. And continue forward to capture the details as needed. So as soon as I click on the grey screen, it will save this functionality again and change my word count. So we've now got the ad text and the photos in to the system. We can use the check spelling feature if required. We can either go back to marketing and then we can generate our just listed or just solds. I'd like to just let you know what these functionalities are here. Open Words at Cell means that we can open up a database where we can find any previous marketing material that has worked quite well for us over a period of time, especially if you've got homes within an immediate area that are very similar. They all run off say the Queenslander style home with different additional features, so you may capture a similar ad text and just change some of the wording to suit the property. So we can open Words That Sell, or we can move a particular property to archive it in this database. For instance, if I select on Move Ad to Words That Sell, this will push through a photo of the property, the details which had been captured against the listing, and also the ad text and information that had been captured and generated. This will remain in the Words That Sell database, and we can select on Back to Marketing to go back to where we were working. So we've been brought back to our list view. We'll just select on Details, and we're now ready to generate our brochures, Just Listed and Just Sold. So we've added our photos. All the information that we added just a moment ago was under the photo functionality. Alternatively, if we wanted to add text and open the Words That Sell databases, we could do so from this functionality as well. So now we're ready to print off a brochure at a couple of clicks of the button. We've inserted the details required. We have our standard created within Complete Data, and I know that every time I generate a brochure out of the system, it will be to standard. As you can see here, we have our brochure, and I no longer have to fight with publisher files. All the details that I've added into the listing have been generated and brought through. I can now go File and Print, or hit Continue and print this functionality off. I can PDF the details off into a PDF format and save it to a file so that I can print this off at my leisure. I can say no to any changes or printing. So that was by selecting on brochure, by adding just some details and some photos to the system. Now once we've added our details, we may like to get out our Just Listed flyers straight away. In most cases, most agents do a 10, 10 and 20. Instead of once again fighting with a publisher file, your offer standard can be put into Complete Data, and we can select on Just Listed, and we can preview, and we can create the 3DL flyers on an A4 page so that you can select the details. It will draw through the information. You can come up and go Continue and print that off, print 50 off, and go and get started with your letterbox drops. We can hit Continue and print, and I'm going to say no. So that is our Just Listed. Just Sold is the same practicality as Just Listed and Brochure. Select on Just Sold, preview, and preview your Just Solds. Once again, this has got a standard office text which has been drawn through. I can print these off and go and start to do my Just Sold drop. Continue and no. Now this will save not only the administrators but also the agents quite a bit of time if you have your offer standard inserted into Complete Data. You'll need to contact our support team on the 1300 367 412 number, and they will be able to tell you what you need to supply them to have your brochure, Just Listed, Just Sold and window card created within the system. Now that we've seen how we can generate the marketing from that area, we now need to concentrate on setting a campaign to our vendors. We may have just listed the property and our vendor said that they were going to be okay with purchasing and taking out our vendor paid contribution, such as a marketing campaign. I'm going to select on my campaign from my drop down list here, Sample Marketing Campaign. I'm going to set the campaign to a date that I wish to start the campaign from. So I've promised that I'll start the campaign on Monday. I'm going to select on the 17th, and this will put in all the actions of my custom campaign that we've applied to the system. There is a warning which comes up, and please take heed of this warning. Please modify any publication dates as promised to your vendor Also enter your VPA amount, and please note that the lister is liable for the campaign. So we now have our campaign which our vendor has said that they're okay with. As in some cases, the vendors may feel that some features aren't of benefit to them and they like to chop and change. Once again, this does come down to your office standard. So we now come down, and we may have promised that certain functionalities such as the architectural floor plan would be generated, and we got that underway on the 13th. The photography will be captured on the 17th, and we've now just rectified the information which we're going to provide to our vendor. Also, our vendor has said to us, look, we prefer not to have maybe the virtual tour. We prefer to spend that $250 on an ad in the newspaper. We're not comfortable with virtual tours. We can say delete the functionality by selecting on the red X, and that will delete it, and that will now change the balance of our campaign. The vendor may have requested that we apply a different marketing strategy, such as on the 26th maybe. They would prefer to have an advertisement in the Sydney Morning Herald. So we've now just applied the information, and our balance has now calculated to $19.80. So we've customized one of our campaigns for our vendor. Instead of sitting there retyping the information to update the details, you can now come and print off a format for your vendor. We can select on print detail, and this will print off a full campaign that your vendors will need to sign off on. And as you can see, it provides their details, what they're going to have applied for their campaign, each costing and the date which we're going to have it appearing on, as promised to them, and then we can get their signature to say that they're signing off on this campaign. This is so that there is no dispute on receiving the funds at a later stage if that's your office standard. Most offices capture the information and the payment up front, so then we would hit continue, either PDF or print it off, and take that to our vendor. If our vendor didn't require such a detailed format, we can go into print summary. This allows the same functionality but on a very summarized detail here. So we've just reduced the amount of information that we're providing to them, but they're still getting a standard that is going to be printed out of the system. Now we can make these printable standards look however you require them. We can change the format in the font area of complete data. So now that we've captured this detail and we've set them on a campaign, we've deleted it and customized and reprinted their VPA sign-off, we can now tag that the vendor has paid for this campaign yes. We will go through and tag off all the functionalities that the vendor has paid their check for. So if they gave you a check in full, we can tag it off, and as you can see down the bottom here in the vendor paid column, the vendor has paid for the total balance. Now this is where it's important to track our details. We may have had certain features which have appeared, so once we tag off appeared, that will calculate the total spent, the remaining balance which we have got in trust. So we can see if we calculate this off, as an example, the total spent will change. So we're just going to revert this now so that I can then take you in and show you the advertising database of where all these functions appear, so that we can use our booking sheet to see what's due to appear over the coming weeks and book our advertisements. So I have just manually tagged that information off. I've tagged it off because I have received the payment from the vendor in full being a full check for 1908. It's been submitted and the check has cleared. If the vendor is paying as they go, and that is your preference, we can select on vendor paid no, and then we can just tag the functionality off as we receive the payment. So we'll see how this comes to play in a moment in the advertising database. So we've seen how we can set a campaign, delete an action, apply new activity, and generate our own standard campaign, which is customized to our client standard. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go and have a look at, after we come back to the office and we've received the sign off on the VPA, we've got a related documents area within Complete Data. Lee has a dream of having a paperless office, so having everything in one place and one space for a purpose, and this is why we have a property digital folder. So we can select on related documents, and in here I can see every document that has been captured against the property. So we're going to select on open, and this will open me up to the document that has been captured against the system. So this has just been a photo which has been applied. We can always give it a description. And click on the grey screen. The next thing we're going to do is, now that we've changed the caption, which can be changed at any time, we can delete the functionality at any time. We now need to know how we can link this information. It's exactly the same process as linking a photo or inserting a photo into the system. So we're going to select on Link New Related Document. I've got my vendor paid sign off here. I'm going to double select on the function, and that will put it into behind the scenes of the marketing folder of the property. We're now going to type our description. I can select on open, and I can view this at any time. So I would have the VPA sign off, the property photos, and also maybe a scanned copy of the contract in a digital folder so I can apply it and link it. This assists if this was the contract which we had applied. We can go in, open it and print it off instead of trying to find the folder on someone's desk within the office, or maybe they've taken it home and we need to issue a copy of the contract to a client which has come into the office. This is a perfect way of tracking the details so that everyone can see what's going on at one time. So we would have VPA sign-offs, contracts, pest and building inspections if we've got those, depending on what state you are, and any other documentation which we need to capture. We're going to select on back to marketing, and that will take us back to where we're working. So we've had a look at photos, brochure, just listed, just sold, and window cards. Property details will take us back to the listing information, where we capture how many beds, baths, and information on setup with the price. Print summary is a very summarized format of what we're looking at in front of us. We can print a detailed account. We can link a related document and capture the contracts and any important information. We can add some text which will apply to the functionality above. We can open the Words That Sell database if we have a marketing blank and need to get an ad generated quickly. And we can select on Open House. This will take us through to the open houses that have been promised to our vendor, as in our listings session 3. Also, you can come in here and open this, and we'll see where these open home features apply, how we can print the open house list off to our vendor so they've got it in their hand and that they know when we're going to be turning up and what dates we've booked that they've signed off on. And also we'll go and have a look at how these dates which are applied will pop up so that we can print off a list for our open for inspections for the weekend. So I'm going to select on the big CDI format here to take us back to the main screen. So we've applied everything through either the listings screen or the marketing tab here for the marketing database. We're now going to go into advertising. In the advertising database, this is where the campaigns that we've set against properties in these two areas will pop up for our administrators to find out what we've promised to the vendors, and so that they can book these ads as they come through to the booking sheet. So we've selected on advertising. Once again, like any of the databases in Complete Data, we're brought through into the list view format. We can see that these are all the advertising actions that we've had completed in the past against a property. If I come and select on this week, this will bring up all the properties which are due to appear this week, and if I have got my information in front of me of what has been paid for and what has actually appeared, I can then go through and tag the details off. I can also go through and find out what's due next week so that I can go through and book this functionality and print off a list. Go through and book this detail. I can also go through to next month and see what's due to be booked for then. I can print that off. Or this month, I can see what's due, what has been booked and what has been appeared for this month here. So this month we've got a few actions. We're up to nearly the 17th. So we need to tag off everything that has appeared and everything that has been paid for, such as our banking statement that we may have received. So how we do this is we go through, and as soon as we tag appeared yes, this will tag it off against the property which has got the actions applied. So we're just going to select on detail view now, which is taking us into another layout. And I'm going to work through as it's in date format. So this property, I've got my information, yes the photography has been done, and yes the vendor has paid for that, and I'm now right to move forward. That has tagged the details off in the marketing section of 32 Birdwood Avenue. I can use the arrow key and continue through, tagging off appeared and no the vendor hasn't paid for that action. Yes, yes. And I can write any publication notes if I require. So we're going to continue forward and just tag off the features that we need to. So if we go through to Union Street, we'll just tag a few of these off and I'll take you back and show you where this is applied from now. So yes, it's appeared, and no, the vendor has not paid for that one. This one has appeared and the vendor has paid for that action. Yes and yes. So we can see what they've paid for and what they haven't paid for at one period of time. I can now use my window key in Complete Data, which is essentially our back button. Because I'm in the advertising database here, I'd like to go back to marketing where we were working on Union Street and select on back to marketing. And you can see by tagging the details off, this has said yes, these ones have appeared, and yes, the vendor has paid for 2, and we're still waiting on money to come in for these 2. This one has not appeared or has not been activated as yet. So that's how we can track our VPA. And once again, it's all captured down here and it does the calculations automatically for you from the information that has been tagged off. So that's the advertising and marketing database. Now we set a campaign against a property which we've just been tagging off. We need to now see how we can add our own brand new campaign and also the activities which go with that campaign to build the information to generate a platinum or a gold or a low, high or medium motivation trail for VPA. So we're going to come back into marketing, into the list view format, details. So we've seen how we've applied it, and we're now going to see how we can create a campaign which will appear in this list. So we just go back to the main screen. We're going to go into systems. As discussed in session 1, systems area of complete data is where our engine room is. This is everything which is not applied to a contact lives in this area. So we're going to come into systems. I'm going to come down to marketing menu. So by selecting on marketing menu, we need to have every activity that we provide as a service for marketing or advertising applied in this database. This will help us select and populate and update all the prices which are in complete data. So as you can see here, we've got a number of different marketing activities. We've got 58 in total which we provide as a service in our office. Now we found that one of our campaigns is quite high end and that we've been getting a lot of response from a lower end marketing campaign, so we may want to create this from scratch. So I need to make sure that all the activities have been applied. So we can select on details like in any of the areas of complete data, which will just take us into more of a data entry format so we can apply a bit more detail. If I needed to update the costing of this advertisement, such as ABC Couriers half page, it's now just been increased to 2,200. I just need to change the price and keep it up to date, and that has now been updated. I can use my arrow key and update any other pricing that may need to be updated. So this applies the update. If I want to create a brand new activity, such as a new publication or a new service that we're going to provide, I'll need to select on New Activity. This will give me a blank canvas, and now we can see that we've got 59 activities which we'll be providing as a service. So I can select on advertising or marketing. This is going to be a marketing activity. I'm going to scroll down, and as in all other areas of complete data, I can come in and I can select on the edit feature and type my text in here. So we may be applying Terrigal Times and hitting OK, and this will always appear in my drop down list for me. I can scroll through and it should be the last one which has been actioned. Select on the population information and it's generated in here for me. Item. My cursor is flashing in the item area, so I can now put in here So I've just typed in landscape half page, select on the size, which is a half page, and I'm going to put in the costing. So this is 19,500. So I'm going to click on the grey screen now, and that is now going to save. I can apply days from start. So if this was, for instance, an auction campaign that we apply to a property for its 4-week details, I can come in and apply. This may be activated on day 7 of every auction campaign. So automatically this will apply 7 days from the date which is selected in the set campaign area. I'm going to take this information out, as we generally leave it blank so that we can apply it when we're generating a brand new campaign for ourselves. It's up to you on whether you use this area here or you do as I'm going to show you now. So we've now added in our new activity, which is quite simple. The next section we're going to go back to is systems, and we're now going to come into trails because we've got all of our activities which we need to build a campaign available. So we're going to select on trails, and instead of going in to one of these trails and hitting new trail, we need to hit marketing trail. This will create a brand new marketing trail for us. So we only select this if we're building trails for marketing. We select on the functionality here, and you'll see that it's generated a brand new marketing blank canvas for me. So I'm now okay to go in and select on buyer or prospect. Needs to be applied to marketing, so it's available from the marketing database. If I leave it as buyer or prospect, I will not be able to see it, and this will not make sense, and we'll need to come back and redirect it to marketing. I'm going to take out the detail here, and we may call this custom marketing for Terrigal. We can select on the grey screen, and that will save the details. And this information that I've populated in here will be in my drop down list where I selected the campaigns from before. So now we've added the details, we're ready to start building our campaign from scratch. You'll notice as soon as I click in the box here and apply one of the publications and activities that we've just inserted into the system, the campaign total will start to build, so you can keep an eye on the amount as you're building the campaign. We can select on the code here, and I'm going to scroll down, and the first function is going to be my Terrigal Times landscape half page. That is the costing here, and we're going to do this on day 7. So I've just clicked into the box, applied the day, and I'm now ready to go and build the rest of the campaign. I can also come in, and I'm going to have in here the photos, photography, large colour photos, and the costing here, and the days from start. It can be 0 or 1, so I'm going to apply 1 and continue to build my campaign. So we generate it as required. And we can see that the total down here is starting to build. So I've now built my custom campaign. This seems to be the most popular within the area that I'm working, as they like to target different areas. So we're going to come in and we're going to let them know that we can generate a little bit more, so they may want to add an activity such as another half page depending on your standards. So as my campaigns mostly run around the 5,000 area, I'm going to go through and we'll put in another half page. So we've got our campaign running now. So now that we've built the campaign from scratch, we can get out of the system and we're going to come back into marketing. We'll find a property which hasn't got any marketing details on them. We'll just delete this one so that we can see when we apply. So we've just now built our campaign. We're going to select a trail. We're going to come in here and we're going to look for our campaign. So we called it our custom campaign, our custom marketing campaign for Terrigal, which is TC134. I select on that detail, I hit set campaign, hit OK. The date I wish to start it from was last week, and that has just now applied the details for me. I can select on OK because I didn't delete the remaining one, so I'll have to fix that up. And now my campaign is ready to go. I've set it. I can come up and select on print detail, and there we go. We can apply that to our vendor, get them to sign off, and once again link it as a related document. I can hit continue and I'm going to say no. So that's how we can add campaigns. We can apply our own campaigns into the systems by activating our activities, and everything that we just looked at then was under the Systems tab. We applied the marketing from the marketing menu. We went into trails and we built the trails from the marketing area here. The last thing that I'm going to show you in this session is going to come into Systems, and we're going to have a look at our open house information in here. So we can select on open house, and if we hit print, this will ask us to select a date range of when we would like to print out for our open homes. So we're going to do it from Saturday to Saturday. So I'll go back a little longer, as it's a test database. Hopefully something pops up. So this has brought through all the open houses that I'm going to be holding this weekend, the dates, the time, the property, the details which are required, and you can have these customized to your own standard. So whatever you're currently using in your office at the moment can be applied to the system to make it your own. I can hit continue and print. Alternatively, I can go down the list and select on the marketing menu and apply all the details. I've got a standard which I've just applied in here. So if I had my photos available in against these properties, I've got my listing, my open house listing format. I've got beds, bath and car, and I've got my details drawing through with a good description, and this has got the price, and I'm able to print this out from the system. I no longer have to manually do anything as long as I've got my information captured in the system, or my reports created to my own standard, which is upon your setup. So please contact support to get these reports customized. I'm going to select on the CD icon now, to take us back to the main menu. And that now concludes our marketing session in Complete Data. Thank you for attending our training, and I look forward to talking to you in session 5.